Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. Tonight, we're going to be dedicating this telecast of the Cerebral Smack Talk to all our friends, all the athletes, all the volunteers, and everybody in the Special Olympics, the Summer Games. The flame has been lit at URI. Let the games begin. Some of the competition has happened earlier today. More competitions will be held tomorrow and some on Sunday. But without a doubt, this is the biggest event of the calendar year for a lot of our colleagues, friends of Talking Wrestling TXN, friends of TXN Sports World. They know who they are. We know them very well through group outings, boys' night. We've gotten a number of them are very near and dear to our hearts. And tonight, on the behalf of myself and my colleague Anthony Florio, I think we both said in unison, good luck, play fair, come out fighting, and we hope you guys win some medals. I know a couple guys who are very close to us have already won some medals, and I hope the rest of you guys have a great time at URI and good luck. And a special shout out to one of my colleagues who's a member of the 2184 crew. She's a volunteer for the Special Olympics who works with me at my job. So I give a lot of kudos to her as well. And I wish them lots of luck, and I hope it's very sick. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Well, I was not expecting this. Michael Bullock in the building. Bullock, what are you doing? What are you doing here? I thought you were going to be at Special Olympics getting ready for
I was there, but the thing is, it's not like what I used to be doing when staying at the dorms.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did not know
I'm
that.
actually home. But don't worry, I'll be back there tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, I don't know if you caught my little statement.
I did see it. So I did see it. So since I'm here, do you want to incorporate the finals preview into it?
Well, I wasn't gonna mention that, but I was talking about the Special Olympics. I don't know if you heard my little statement before you jumped on.
Oh, I didn't hear it before I.
Oh, all right. Florio will. You know what, Anthony? Why don't you come on in because I know you wanted to say something about the competition, and so I'll let you have the floor.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, MF. And color me surprised. I was not expecting Michael Bullock to be here either. To be honest with you, but yes, I do share in MF's sentiments. Tonight, our this edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk will be dedicated to not only Michael Bullock, but also all of our dear friends from our group outing crew who participate in the Special Olympic State Summer Games that are underway at the University of Rhode Island. And first and foremost, Michael Bullock, who without a doubt is the heartbeat, the heart and soul of Special Olympics Rhode Island. Of course, our other dear friend, Mr. Brian Keenan. We want to give him a special shout out as well. He's got a busy weekend ahead of him. And then, of course, other dear friends in no particular order. Ryan Avedisian, of course, Heather Ryrostic, and Sarah Brulette, and everybody who's a part of this. You could say this is their WrestleMania in a sense, their Super Bowl in a sense, and our love and our support to all of you, and we wish you all the best of luck, and represent our brotherhood, our group outing family in a sense. So you're more than dear friends to all of us. All of you guys we're almost like family. We're almost like brothers and sisters in arms. So yeah. I don't know what else there is left for me to say. But MF, since Michael Bullock is here, I do believe it would be in the best of interest to add our preview of the NBA Finals as our main event here tonight.
And we will indeed do that. So yes, we will add that. We didn't know if we were gonna throw it into the docket tonight or throw it on the docket on Wednesday night. However, he's here. We're covering it. We're gonna do it tonight. We're getting into it. As we will be previewing the NBA Finals that will happen on Thursday. Game 1 will be Thursday night from TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. But like we said, we got Smackdown first, and we started it off with the GM, Nick Aldis, in the ring, introducing and officially, I guess you could say, the proclamation and the pomp and circumstances to the new Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. She basically demanded for Bayley to come out, and Bayley does come out, only to get beaten down by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. It was a coordinated attack by the Queen to get the leg up. This prompted a little bit of some stuff later in the evening, but at the end of the day, holy cow. Okay, first off, I didn't mind Nia's speech. I thought Nia did a good job. I know there's some people that are not very high on Nia Jax when it comes to that. I thought they did a good job. I thought it was a solid performance. I really liked how they're incorporating her as queen. You know, her with the crown, everything else. It feels good. It feels like they're gonna do something with Nia. And then for her to call out Bayley, obviously that was the status quo move because of the fact that Nia does get the title shot at SummerSlam against whoever the WWE Women's Champion is. It looks like they're setting up for Bayley versus Nia. That's what it looks like from this vantage point. Fine, no problem. The beatdown was a little surprising because of who did it. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, but mainly Piper Niven. Chelsea was kind of the lapdog. She was just barking out orders where Piper was the destroying machine and did with the number honor. Fine opener. I didn't have a problem with it because it actually did some storyline progression. And this is kind of the first salvo for us preparing for SummerSlam. We're not talking about clashing, the Clash at the Castle or Money in the Bank. No, they're going to SummerSlam with this one right out of the gate. I don't mind it. I like it. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. Nick Aldis welcomed us to the show, brought out Nia Jax to celebrate her winning the Queen of the Ring tournament. She demanded Bayley come to the ring, and the champion was all too happy to oblige. Before Bayley could even get down the aisle, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green attacked her. They told Jax it would be Niven facing Nia at SummerSlam because she is going to win the WWE Women's Championship from Bayley. Nia Jax ended the segment by saying she would be whoever she faced. So the crown fits perfectly on Nia Jax's head this time. It didn't fit so well at the pay-per-view, but having her hair up helped. Fine segment here, solid segment here, and perhaps we are leading towards Nia Jax and Bayley in the SummerSlam for the WWE Women's Championship. So we'll wait and see what happens. So not much more to say. Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in and let's get your thoughts on this opening segment. Nia Jax, I'm actually surprised that crown fit that big head of hers.
Yeah, well, it did. So, it does look like it's shaping up to be Nia and Bayley at SummerSlam, but like I said, we still got a long way to go. So who knows what could happen? And but it looks like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Basically, Piper Niven basically wants to put a stop to it. So, yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens as we continue with this. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's move on, Fletch.
First fight of the night that we had was Tommaso Ciampa going one-on-one with Austin Theory, and it was Tommaso Ciampa winning the match in 9 minutes and 49 seconds. Anthony Florio, I think we can say it, championship committee moment. Look, even though DIY, I do believe, do have a shot down the line at the tag team titles, this just kind of adds a little more of that. It just reinforces that championship committee moment for us.
Yeah, and next week we'll see this again next week with the respective partners, but I'll get to that in a moment. 3 to 3 1/4, pretty standard match. Both men hit a few signature moves. The guys at ringside got involved a bit, and they both came close to winning once or twice. Ciampa ended up using Waller's distraction to his advantage to pin Austin Theory and score the win. While both of these men are fun to watch, it was hard to be invested in the outcome because no matter what happened, we all know DIY is going to be getting the title shot soon. Austin Theory's neckbreaker looks good when it hits, but looks way too awkward to set up with his opponent. So, solid 3 to 3 1/4. In a sense, they already have a championship committee moment here, but next week though, as I give it to Michael Bullock here, we saw Ciampa and Theory tonight. Next week, Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller go one-on-one in Louisville. So Bullock, it's yours.
This was definitely what did you rate this?
I gave it about 3 1/4.
Yeah, I'll give this about I'll give it 3 1/4. I mean, this is a good match, but yeah, now next week it's gonna be the exact opposite with the Johnny Gargano going up against Grayson Waller. So, and yeah, technically they do have the shot at the titles, but the question is, when will this become official with DIY going up against A-Town Down Under? But we'll wait and see on it. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Three-star solid match, no doubt about it. I don't think there's really much for us to go after. So next up we had was Andrade El Idolo going one-on-one with Apollo Crews. And it was Andrade winning the match in 7 minutes and 2 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
I'll give this about maybe 2.5 stars. I mean, part of me wanted to see a little more out of this. I mean, but all in all, I mean, it was a good match. The outcome was never in doubt, but the whole thing when it comes to this is the Legado del Fantasma. They're trying to recruit Andrade to join Legado, but
he didn't bite the bait.
Huh?
He did not bite on the bait.
Yeah, he didn't take the bait, but do you think he will eventually, Fletch? Or will he be like, no, after what you did to Rey Mysterio, you really think I'm going to join you, you hypocrites? No.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see him joining. I think it would be counterproductive, honestly. Why would he join a crew that tried to hurt him? And he fought at WrestleMania, by the way, and won. So I don't think, unless there's something there, but I don't think that it's going to happen. And I know some people are like, well, WWE hasn't really done anything with Andrade since he got back. Granted, yes. I could honestly say that I'm also in that same boat, being a little disappointed that Andrade hasn't been utilized correctly. Well, at least not yet. Give it time. And I do believe that look, it's just got to rebuild himself up. He got back at Rumble. That was a shock return. Then they brought him back. Then they had him featured very nicely at WrestleMania. He got a win there. And now he's kind of more or less trying to figure out his way through. He got drafted to SmackDown. Great. Trying to give him his own niche, his own path. I think that's also good. Maybe, and I know there's LA Knight going after the United States heavyweight title and going after Logan Paul. But if for some reason the megastar fails and does not become the United States heavyweight champion, maybe Andrade could be the next in line. Build him up to maybe be the next challenger for the United States heavyweight championship after LA Knight. But it seems like LA Knight is poised to be the next champion. But if for some reason Papa H is like, you know what? Let's let Logan Paul hold the belt on for a little while longer. I got somebody else in mind to dethrone him. Maybe it's Andrade. Who knows? So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm with you. 2.5, 2 3/4. Like you said, disappointing that they only got 7 minutes. They could have gotten at least 10, and I think they would have done really well with this. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Solid 2.5. These two have had several matches in NXT and on the main roster over the years, so they came into this bout with established chemistry. The great thing about both men is they are two of the more powerful high flyers working today. Both men are built like tanks, but can do a moonsault with almost no effort. So this match had some fun exchanges. Angel Garza showed up at ringside and cheered on Andrade as he picked up the win with a little bit of help. The rest of Legado came out on the stage, but Andrade walked right past them. Garza looked worried and assured Santos Escobar he could fix this. And poor Apollo Crews, Andrade landed right on his face after hitting a dropkick. Oof. Solid 2.5. I agree. So, MF, we move on now to a tag team match. Well, I think I know there was something in ring before that, but it was pretty much it was almost basically a
we could go right into the fight.
Yeah, including a tag team that you know.
It was basically.
I was gonna say, including a tag team that you know very well, a lot more than Bullock and I do.
Yes, indeed. This was what the WWE Universe was waiting for. The debut of Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, the Gorillas of Destiny. You want to talk about an epic tag team fight? You got it right here, right now. Winners of the bout in 12 minutes and 1 second was the Gorillas of Destiny. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, they win it. Anthony Florio, it was them and the Profits going at it, and you could easily say fight of the night.
Almost definitely. Before that, though, Kevin Owens came out for a promo to talk about how Randy Orton didn't really lose his King of the Ring final match against Gunther. But since the Viper wasn't there, he was going to focus on the bloodline instead. Paul Heyman came out and tried to convince Kevin Owens to back off for his own safety. And then Heyman ended up having a bit of a meltdown and almost caused KO to attack him. The bloodline showed up, but the Street Profits came out as backup. A huge brawl broke out. Solo Sikoa and Kevin Owens fought to the backstage area while everyone else was fighting in the ring. And this led into the big tag team match between the Gorillas of Destiny and the Street Profits that was already scheduled to take place. Heyman and B-Fab were both watching from ringside as Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins controlled the pace against Tama Tonga. The longer the match went, the more competitive it became. Nobody ever had control for too long, so there were plenty of back and forth sequences. Even though WWE didn't make a big deal out of his debut, Tonga Loa was victorious in his first outing alongside his brother. While this was a good match, it was hard to look past the fact that Loa's in-ring debut didn't feel like a big deal because WWE didn't do enough to hype it up. God should feel more important, but so far they're just Gorillas of Destiny rather should feel more important, but so far they're just muscles for Solo Sikoa until something interesting happens. Heyman was shown trying to talk to Solo backstage before the segment. He wanted Solo to focus more on strategy and less on violence, and that's really it. So somewhere between 3.25 and 3.5. You could definitely make an argument for fight of the night on this one. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, first time we get to see these guys. MF has seen these guys wrestle a gazillion times. But Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa in tag team action. And their first match as a team in WWE, they beat one of the best tag teams of this era, the Street Profits, and they did so in 12 minutes.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. This was, like you said, the fight of the night. And yeah, I mean, what a debut for that tandem. And I don't know about you, but I think Solo Sikoa, I mean, he's trying to recruit a new version of the Bloodline and one that's even more dangerous. I mean, heck, come on, guys. Why would he bring in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa? Because I think he wants this version of the Bloodline to be violent. And when you bring in two of the wildest guys in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, yeah, this is and with the way Solo Sikoa is, I don't think anybody wants to be in the path of this group. No way. And yeah, where does this go from here? Who knows? So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Michael Bullock touched on something that is absolutely true. What they do is they look for violence, chaos, and destruction. That's what Gorillas of Destiny was always been, especially in New Japan, especially in Ring of Honor. They were looking for devastation. They didn't care how they did it, who they did it to, or what was the purpose. They were looking for whatever they needed to do and downright beat them down. That's exactly what their mission was. So yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. This was good. I enjoyed it. Nothing more to say. We'll just move right on along. Next up, we had was the tag team women's match: Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Naomi and Bayley. And Piper Niven and Chelsea Green does win the match. They win it in 8 minutes and 56 seconds. But unfortunately, if you're looking for a championship committee moment, you're not getting it here. It was Chelsea Green getting the pin on Naomi, but the thing was, Piper did the damage. She took out Bayley, then basically Piper squashed Naomi, and then basically grabbed Chelsea and pulled and drugged her over so that she could make the pin on so that she can get the pin on Naomi. Chelsea gets credit for the win, but Piper did all of the work. Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. It's yours. Niven and Green wins it in 8:56.
Another 2.5 star here, but come on, Fletch. I mean, do you think Chelsea Green's really going to care if Piper did the damage?
Oh no, she's going to take full responsibility. She's going to be like, I won this one all by myself. Technically, she gets credited for the win, so I mean, okay.
Yeah, but let's make it one thing clear, Chelsea. If it weren't for the damage that Piper Niven did, who knows? Your team probably doesn't get the win. But again, that's Chelsea being the arrogant little. Well, I'm not gonna really go there with that. So. Unfortunately, like you said, no championship committee moment. So, yep, we're just going to have to wait. So, nothing more to say. It's your Fletch.
All it just does is it just raises the stock of Piper Niven. Now we know that Niven is a legitimate threat. She just did. Look at what she just did in that tag team fight alone, and that basically tells you, whoa, Piper is a threat, guys. Piper could be, she could be in the mix for that title, and you know what? She could be because remember, where are they going after Money in the Bank? They're going to Scotland. And as you know, Clash at the Castle, that's ICW territory. Especially in Scotland. As a matter of fact, that SEC Hydro is actually the home of their biggest event of the year. Fear and Loathing used to be at the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. So this arena that they're doing the Clash at the Castle, this is ICW territory. This is just like how Wrestle Kingdom every year is at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan for New Japan. The ICW's biggest event of the year, which is Fear and Loathing, which is like their version of WrestleMania. Every year they do it at the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. So for a Clash at the Castle to be in this venue, when Piper faces off with Bayley, this is gonna be a home court advantage Piper. I think this is going to be one of the rare times maybe Bayley would have to play the heel in this match because, especially at the Hydro, that's going to be a Piper Niven crowd more than anything else. Just as much as Drew McIntyre is going to get a monster pop when he battles Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. This will be the exact same thing. Nothing more to say. 2.5 stars. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
I'm going to give it a solid 3. This was a high energy and fast-paced match that allowed all 4 women to show off a bit. Naomi was definitely one of the bigger standouts. In a somewhat surprising outcome, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven were able to get the win over Naomi and the women's champion Bayley when Green pinned Naomi after Niven did all the work. Niven looks like she has been getting more agile. She seems to move around a bit quicker than she used to. And Naomi's athleticism is insane. She does not get enough credit for how precise she is with a lot of her moves. So solid 3 stars for this. And, Bullock led off on this, right?
Yes, he did, and we're going right into the main event segment, which was AJ Styles.
The main event segment. Oh, boy.
Cutting a promo. At first, it sounded like he was done. It sounded like he was leaving WWE. It sounded like he was going to retire. And then he calls out Cody Rhodes and pulls the rug out from under him and attacks him. He is not done with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and it looks like we're going to have another throwdown between these 2 men. And quite frankly, I cannot wait. Shut up and take my money. I don't care where this fight is done. I don't care if they do this at the Hydro. I don't care if they do this at Money in the Bank. But damn it to hell, I want AJ Cody 2. What the first fight was absolutely insane. Head, Dave Meltzer gave this 5 stars. That's how good the fight was. The first time ever in a long time that freaking Dave Meltzer gave a WWE match 5 stars. That is very impossible in this day and age, especially for him. But I thought this was a solid closing segment. It was really strong. It made us believe at a point that AJ was leaving. that, he thought about everything. He talked about his son graduating recently, how he got to be there and witness it and say, you know what? I don't get that many opportunities in my lifetime. Maybe this might be my path now. Maybe I should become a full time dad, and say goodbye to all this. He's talking about how much he loved the Good Brothers, how much he loved Gallows Anderson, and they did their thing. Then he calls out Cody, brings out Cody, and said, "You know what? This was one of the greatest matches. I'm gonna pass the torch, and I want to pass it to you." And Cody, unfortunately, was the gullible idiot, fell for the trap, and the next thing you know, AJ laid the boots on him. Referees, Gestapo security, and Nick Aldis all try to run after and try to stop AJ, but the Good Brothers were there, the OC were there to run interference to make sure that they get the last laugh, and boy, was it a last laugh. AJ hooking up Cody, Styles clash, boom, right on the mats outside the ring. And what a sight to see at the end of the show. Cody laid out, AJ standing tall, much to the shock and the anger of the fans, and much to my delight watching that from the MVP Arena in Albany, New York, here tonight. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Segment of the night here, no doubt about it. Tonight's SmackDown ended with the promo AJ Styles asked for during the show. Before he went to the ring, he hugged the WWE champion Cody Rhodes backstage and whispered something in his ear. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows were with him, but Mia Yim was not present, despite being asked about all of this by Caleb Braxton earlier in the show. AJ talked about seeing his son graduate high school, and he said a moment hit him when he realized he had missed a lot of moments like that. He asked Cody Rhodes to join him in the ring. He called his match with Cody one of his best ever. They traded some kind words and hugged. They posed for the crowd several times before AJ put him down with a clothesline in what is one of the most predictable turns we have seen in years. The way they were milking this announcement made it clear from miles away that AJ would do this. He delivered a Styles clash from the steps to the floor to end the show. Segment of the night, no question about it. We're definitely running this back. I believe it's going to be in Scotland myself, but we're just going to have to wait and see how WWE decides to go about it. So, but my best guess is Scotland. I think it's going to be Clash at the Castle as the co-main event. More than anything else, Drew McIntyre should be the main event of that show against Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship, even though Cody is the much bigger star in the face of the company, but still. Segment of the night, no question about it. And was it just me, guys, or did this have the feel of 2013 when Mark Henry did the same thing to John Cena?
It did. It
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Good observation there, sir.
A lot of people on social media comparing what we saw tonight to that. That's why I asked.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, and they're absolutely right. So, segment of the night, Michael Bullock, no question about it. I'll tell you what, I saw it coming from a mile away. I wasn't buying AJ retiring for 1 second. I did not. And I was like, hey, we didn't see Cody yet either. So I figured he was due here, and he was, and we're definitely running this thing back. AJ and Cody too, I believe most likely at Clash at the Castle at the Hydro in Scotland. But boy, howdy, man. This was Mark Henry, John Cena 2013 all over again.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I had the feeling of that too when I saw this happen. And yeah, I think we're definitely running this back at Clash at the Castle with Cody and AJ once again for that championship. And yeah. And I'll tell you what, right now, I mean, I would not want to be AJ Styles because somewhere in the back, Nick Aldis, or not in the back, but some out there, Nick Aldis is fuming because he was led to believe that he was going to retire, and then all of a sudden he pulls that. Nick Aldis is probably gonna be like, all right, AJ, you need to explain yourself. Why did
Aldis
you
was
score?
out there. Aldis
Oh
was
no, no,
out there.
no.
I don't know. No, I mean it. Aldis was out there. You didn't see the camera shot, but there was a moment when the Scafo security guards, the referees, Aldis was actually out there. But and he looked pissed at the moment. So he was out there when AJ did the Styles Clash to Cody. He was out there, Bullock.
Yeah, I'm sure right now. It's. I'm sure AJ doesn't want to cross paths with Nick Aldis next time. So this is a great way to close the show. So there's really nothing more to say.
Anthony Florio, you lead off on the overall review.
I will give this somewhere between I probably would say about 7.5, maybe. It was a pretty down the middle episode of SmackDown. We saw some decent action. Best fight of the night, definitely Street Profits and Gorillas of Destiny. No doubt about that. All the action was solid. We didn't really have any bad matches on this show. Some of them could have been a little better, though. Great segment at the end. So I'm leaning around the 7.5, teetering on 8 thresholds. So, but I'm leaning more towards 7.5 for me. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on tonight's show from Albany?
7.5 to 8 for me. I agree with on everything that you guys have said. I mean, I thought this was a really good show. I mean, there were really no bad matches. So, with that being said, I think we're getting into the Ranger Roundup now.
We will in just 1 minute. I gotta give my final thought, and that's a 7.5 out of 10. I thought they did a really good job with the show. Yes, it could have been better in certain areas, but I'm not gonna say anything bad. They did a really good job, to say the very least. And now here we go. Yes, indeed. Michael Bullock has alluded to it. It is time for the Ranger Roundup. Game number 5, the pivotal game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. It is the New York Rangers versus the Florida Panthers from Madison Square Garden in New York. And the winner of this will basically get one step closer to that would be one step closer where they'll be one win away from getting the opportunity to win the East and possibly get the shot at the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, Ranger fans, it was not meant to be. The Florida Panthers wins the game 3-2 last night. They had the 3-2 lead and now is one win away from ending the Rangers season. They could wrap it up tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on ABC for game number 6. If New York wins, then Monday night is a winner-take-all game 7. And whoever wins that game will face off against the winner of the Edmonton Oilers versus Dallas Stars. By the way, for you fine folks, programming note or program heads up, currently Edmonton up 3-0 on Dallas right now. It is current. The game is going on at this hour. It's in the third period, 13:53 and counting as we speak. Edmonton is up 3-0, regardless of what happens 1 week from tomorrow, which I believe is June 10th, will be the start of the Stanley Cup Final. Next week or next Thursday on this show, June 8th. I'm sorry. I thought it was June 10th. I got messed up there. All right. So it is Saturday. It is a Saturday start day. But regardless, we will preview the Stanley Cup Final next week. So we'll get into that next week for all you folks out there. We'll preview the Cup final between whoever the East representative is versus the West representative. But now back to the game, back to this game. It started out early. No goals were scored in the first period, so we went into the second. There was a power play for Florida. However, the New York Rangers, just like they've been doing this entire postseason, a man down, no problems. We just get shorties. Another short-handed goal for the New York Rangers, and this time Chris Kreider gets on the board. Mika Zibanejad with the assist at 2:04 in the second period. That gave the New York Rangers the 1-0 lead. For Kreider, his first goal since Game 6 against Carolina. And by the way, that was the hat trick game. Like my good friend Crystal from the Crystal Palace on YouTube.com, hat trick Kreider, as she was screaming that out in Madison Square Garden at a watch party. And yeah, it was electric. That just like it was electric that night, it was electric last night in the Garden. The Garden erupted, went bonkers when Kreider got the shorty and got the 1-0 lead. But the celebration was short-lived. Gustav Forsling, yes, that old nemesis of Michael Bullock, and now is starting to become a nemesis for these New York Rangers, got the goal. Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad with the assist. That tied the game at 1 going into the third. Then Lindell getting the goal. Ekstrom with the assist at 10:22. That gave Florida a 2-1 lead. Then the Rangers basically got desperate, pulled the goalie out, pulls Igor out, and Sam Bennett, empty net, buries it in the back of it. At 18:08, that gave it 3-1. You're thinking, oh man, game over. We're done. We're goners. Well, not so fast, my friend. Alexis Lafreniere gets a goal. Kreider and Zibanejad on the assist. That was about with 50 seconds left in the game. You're thinking, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Is there a miracle? Could we pull the unthinkable here? Unfortunately, time runs out on the New York Rangers. They do lose the game 3-2. Sergei Bobrovsky had 25 saves. Igor with 34 saves. Florida outshot New York 37-27. And then our 3 stars of the game, Anton Lindell was the number 1 star. Gustav Forsling was the number 2 star. Number 3 star was Igor Shestankin with the 34 saves in the game. And what really is the difference was in the last couple of games, how Florida was dominating the faceoff circle. Last night, the Rangers were the ones who were dominating the faceoff circle. 35 wins to Florida's 23 wins. 60% of the faceoffs went to the advantage of the New York Rangers. Both teams struggled on the power play. Both teams went 0 for 3. New York out-hit Florida 29-24. And like I said, the shots on goal was 37-27 advantage Florida. So, you know what? If you remember in 1994, New York was down 3-2 against the New Jersey Devils. And Anthony alluded to this and showed me something and showed me an article clip. And that was the guarantee by Mark Messier. He guaranteed that they were going to win Game 6 and that they were going to bring this back to Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. And let's be realistic. I know a lot of people are thinking that this is the end. there's no way Florida is probably going to finish New York, and it's over and done with. There are some people out there that thinks that. But here's the thing. I've seen New York come back from crazier things. And if you really think about this, the only other game, which was game 1, where New York just got obliterated, just absolutely beat down, embarrassed. No way. Every other game has been 1-goal differences. 3 of those games went to overtime. New York already has won a game in Florida. We won one. Florida has not had any success at home than they do on the road. They're a really good road team, but they're not good at home. And the thing is, one person came up to me today, and he's like, New York brought their A game last night. This was the most complete performance we saw with New York. And he's like, it was just some unfortunate bounces, some mistakes were made that New York can easily correct. Well, guess what? Now we need to have our best game yet. We cannot afford to lose this game. We need to win this game 6. If this is 1994, if the script of 94 is in play right now, New York wins tomorrow night and sends this back to the Garden for a game 7. And everybody knows if it's a game 7, all bets are off. I've seen this team resilient all year long. And I know they do not want to go out like this. So we just need Mika to wake up. We need Panarin to wake up. Because it looked like Kreider found it. And the other person who's found it was Lafreniere. Alexis Lafreniere has been absolutely phenomenal. But Vincent Trocheck's been non-existent in the series. Mika finally got an assist, but we need you to score goals, bro. Same thing with you, Breadman. It's great that you got the assist. We need goals. Now more than ever, we need our top lines to produce. Because now there's no tomorrow. We cannot lose this next game or we're done. And everything we did, the President's Trophy, the 55 wins, the most wins in Ranger history, will be all for naught. We cannot let this happen, guys. No quit in NY has been that motto. And now more than ever, it's time to dig down deep and let's see what your heart is all about. Because there are a lot of people out there right now that's writing you off. Not me, not Anthony Florio. We both still believe we still got a shot at this. But there's some people out there that's thinking this is the end. That the Panthers has got the Rangers dead to rights. Let's prove the world wrong one more time. We did it when everybody thought that Carolina was gonna beat us, and we put them out in 6. Now let's do this one more time. Everybody's been doubting us. Everybody's been questioning us. Everybody thought that we were dead ducks the minute we started playing against Florida. Let's prove the naysayers wrong one more time. Let's force this shit to a game 7, and let's win this. Anthony Florio, it is all yours, my friend. Give us the stats and then your thoughts going into this must-win game 6 tomorrow night.
And you're gonna see a side of me that you hardly ever see. You've been warned just in just a moment. Let's get to the X's and O's, if you will. For the Florida Panthers, best player on the ice. I mean, I have to probably give a a slight edge to Bennett. I mean, Sam Bennett, who had the goal, had the assist, had 4 hits, had a takeaway, also had 4 face-off wins. Barkov had 8 face-off wins, had a hit. And let's see. Ekblad with an assist also had 6 hits on the night. Oliver Ekman-Larsson had 4 hits on the night. Let's see. And Luosterainen with the assist. Reinhardt with 4 face-off wins. Rodriguez had 3 face-off wins. Stenlund with a couple of face-off wins. Bobrovsky did just enough in goal. The New York Rangers played, they were outstanding on the face-offs. Best player on the ice. I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't care. It's the same guy every time. It's Vincent Trocheck. 11 face-off wins with 4 hits on the night. Mika Zibanejad, 12 face-off wins. He also had 2 assists. Also had a takeaway. Barclay Goodrow, 5 face-off wins, had a hit on the night. Wemberg, 5 face-off wins. And let's see. Keandre Miller with 4 hits. And Trouba with 3 hits. And Igor made some good saves, but unfortunately he let a couple get away. And that's basically it when it comes to the numbers there. So I'm about to do something that I normally don't do on this show, that I rarely do on this show, but I feel, considering the circumstances, I feel that this would be a good time to do this. So I want you to look into my eyes right now. Okay? Look in my eyes right now. I'm gonna tell you all straight up. Tomorrow night. Now, before I get into that, let me just say it like this. MF, you know this better than anybody. The old Anthony Florio would have said, "Oh, this series is over. This series is done. We don't have a hope and a prayer to do this. We're going back to Florida, and these guys are just gonna, they're just gonna nail the pickle barrel shut so we do not get out." No, that old guy, he gone. You're gonna see the news side. Look in my eyes right now. I mean business with what I'm about to say. I may not be as famous as Mark Messier, but I want to tell you all right now, as you look into my eyes right now, I am guaranteeing that the New York Rangers are not only going to come out and play tomorrow night, I guarantee the New York Rangers are going to win Game 6 tomorrow night. They're going to steal it in Florida. They're going to send the series back to Madison Square Garden for a winner-take-all Game 7 on Monday night. Why? Because we can and we will. Believe that. And Florida, look into my eyes once again when I say to you, you damn sure better finish us tomorrow night. Because if you don't, you best believe we got you mofos in Game 7. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. We win tomorrow night. I guarantee it. Done. Bullock, how do you follow that?
I really don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, after that, I'm not even going to try to follow what Anthony Florio, and I'm not going to tell
That
him.
was wow,
man. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely, like you said, do or die for the Rangers. I mean, what else do they have to do? I mean, they got to win this game to force a Game 7, and if that happens, it's back at the Garden, and they have that home ice advantage. So, yeah, I mean, and there's another old saying: it's either shape up or ship out. So they got no other choice, because the last thing you want is the President's Trophy to chant to be out in the Eastern Conference Finals. But this Florida Panthers team, and I should know it from having when my Bruins faced them. They're going to come out a scrappy bunch. So we'll wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more to say except let's get into a preview of the NBA Finals.
That's indeed what we're going to get into. And now we're going to give it over to the voice of the NBA, Anthony Florio. The whole season now comes down to this. We got 2 teams left. Only one gets to hoist the beautiful Larry O'Brien trophy. Oh, by the way, earlier tonight, it was in the WWE's house in Albany, New York, and a very fine-looking baby girl named Kayla Braxton got to pose with that beautiful, brand-new, remade Larry O'Brien trophy. And
she wasn't the only one. Bailey there were some videos on the NBA's Facebook page that Bailey got to be with it, and even Cody Rhodes, and even was saying, "So, Larry O'Brien, what do you want to talk about?"
So this is it. It don't get no bigger than this, Anthony Florio. There are only 2 teams left.
Indeed.
The Western Conference champions, Dallas Mavericks, and the Eastern Conference champions, the Boston Celtics. This is our official preview of the NBA Finals 2024.
And before I get into that, to put the Ranger issue aside, one of the great song lyrics I ever heard in my life. A great song off the Top Gun soundtrack. Cheap Trick had a song called Mighty Wings, and one of the standout lyric in that song, one of my favorite songs of all time. There are no points for second best. So remember that as well. So, and to all those naysayers out there, we're going to prove you wrong tomorrow. Simple as that. So, all right. So with that being said, that's tomorrow. But for right now, let's get into our preview of the 2024 NBA Finals. As MF alluded to it, we have our matchup. It will be the Western Conference champion, Dallas Mavericks, only in it for the 3rd time in franchise history. They made it back in 2006, but they were beaten in 6 games by the Miami Heat. We ran that sucker back. We ran that sucker back 5 years later in 2011, and the Dallas Mavericks got their revenge on the Miami Heat. That was the super team, the overhyped, overrated team that they beat in 6 games. And it's the first time since then that they're in the finals. As for the Boston Celtics, 23rd time in franchise history, second most. Only the Lakers have been there more. They've been there 32 times, but it's 23 now for Boston. So how they got there? Well, very simple. The Dallas Mavericks, their road to the NBA Finals, of course. It started. Excuse me. It all started, of course, when they finished as the number 5 seed in the Western Conference. They defeated the 4 seed Los Angeles Clippers in 6 games. Second round, they upset the number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, did that in 6 games, and then defeated the upstart number 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. They absolutely smashed them last night to get to this point. As for the Boston's, and they finished with a record of 50-32. The Boston Celtics, the best team in the NBA, they finished with the best record at 64-18, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and in the entire playoffs. First round, they got their payback from last year on the Miami Heat. They beat them in 5 games, the 8th-seeded Miami Heat. Second round, they defeated an upstart team of their own in the 4th-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. Took them down in 5 games. And then in the conference finals, a clean 4-game sweep of the 6th-seeded Indiana Pacers. And now here we are, boys. It's the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. All games will be on ABC. And here is the schedule. Game 1. First 2 games will be at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Game 1 will be on Thursday. Will be up this upcoming Thursday night, June 6th, 8:30 p.m. tip-off on ABC. Game 2 will be on Sunday night, June 9th, also on ABC, but with an earlier start time of 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the series will shift to American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas for games 3 and 4. Game 3 will be on Wednesday night, June 12th, 8:30 tip-off on ABC. Game 4, also in Dallas on Friday night, June 14th, 8:30 p.m. tip-off on ABC. If a Game 5 is needed, the series will then shift back to TD Garden in Boston. Game 5 will be on Monday, June 17th, 8:30 p.m. tip-off on ABC. Should a Game 6 be needed, that will then send the series back to American Airlines Center in Dallas. And that game will take place on Thursday, June 20th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, tip-off on ABC. And if there should be a winner-take-all Game 7, TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts, Sunday night, June 23rd, 8 p.m. tip-off on ABC. So with that, gentlemen, it's time. The top storyline, the battle of the backcourts. It's been acclaimed for a couple of weeks this postseason that in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, Dallas arguably has the most potent offensive backcourt in NBA history. Why argue now? Let's stipulate to that and enjoy a strength versus strength matchup with Boston's starting guards. Drew Holiday and Derek White earned spots on the all-defensive second team and have built their reputations over years of making offensive counterparts uncomfortable. They're disruptive and sticky, capable of ball pressure that can throw off even Doncic's late clock decisions or Irving's highlight finishes. Going the other way, Irving has looked more diligent this spring, while Doncic mostly uses defensive possessions to recharge. The Dallas tandem totaled 112 points in the 2 regular season meetings, 51% of their team's output. Holiday and White scored 47, a pittance by comparison, but all the other Celtics outscored all the other Mavs 210 to 108. Keep your eyes on the Porzingis factor. Boston center Kristaps Porzingis went down in the first round against Miami with a right soleus calf strain. No one expected to see him in the second round against Cleveland, and the Eastern Conference Finals didn't last long enough for it to become a possibility. Now, he might be more of a necessity, given the problems posted by Dallas's bigs. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively II are vertical rim runners who play as if on pogo sticks, always available to flush a Doncic job. Derek Jones Jr. and P.J. Washington have upped their production in the postseason. That's a lot to handle up front. And Boston's Al Horford, game and effective the past 2 rounds, is 38 years old and in need of help. Porzingis, at 7'2" and 240 pounds, averaged 20 points and 2 block shots, both of which could help the Celtics. He's a big body in the paint and a 3-level scorer who deepens Coach Joe Mazzulla's rotation after 5 weeks of postseason grind. But one more thing to watch for each team. For Boston, counting by threes. Boston led the league all season in 3-pointers taken and made, hitting them at the second best percentage. That tactic has continued to pay off in the playoffs, with their average of almost 15 makes and 40 attempts topping all others. When they've hit 14 or more threes in a game this postseason, they are 9-0. And they have gotten up 40 or more attempts in half of their postseason games. The Mavericks have been solid, just not stellar from the arc. They've averaged about 12 makes and about 34 attempts, and they're 6-1 when they make 14 or more threes, but have launched as many as 40 only once in 16 games. And the one more thing to watch for Dallas, Kyrie Irving back in Boston. Kristaps Porzingis isn't the only one headed into a matchup with his former team. Kyrie Irving's 2 seasons in Boston from 2017 to 2019 were more emotional than Porzingis' stint in Dallas, marked by more individual success, 2 All-Star berths, than team satisfaction. He has been booed and heckled constantly since leaving for the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, and after he stomped on the Boston Celtics midcourt logo in a 2021 playoff game, a fan threw a water bottle at him. Kyrie Irving has been a model team member with Dallas, avoiding off-court controversies while focusing on his contributions. But that's not the Kyrie that Boston fans will target starting with Game 1 on Thursday night. The one key number to know is 4.6. The Mavericks have made 4.6 corner three-pointers per game, the most in these playoffs by a wide margin. Among individuals, P.J. Washington, 28 out of 68 for 41.2%, and Derrick Jones Jr., 17 of 37 for 45.9%, rank first and second tied in total corner three-pointers. Washington's 28 makes are the most for any player in the last 6 postseasons, and 5 shy of Bruce Bowen's record of 33 in 2007. Derrick Jones's almost 46% on corner threes is up from just almost 34% in the regular season. The Celtics defense does not yield many corner threes, just 1.5 makes per game, fewest in the playoffs through the conference finals. Only 18% of their opponents' three-point attempts, the lowest opponent rate in the playoffs, have come from the corners. They also had the lowest opponent rate, 21%, in the regular season when the Mavs were just 4 of 16 from the corners in their 2 head-to-head meetings. Those 4 corner threes and the 2 per game were tied for the fewest Dallas had against any opponent. The Mavericks were 6 games under 500 last season and only 25-21 in late January. Only Luka Doncic among starters remains from 16 months ago. So whatever expectation Dallas or its fans hold for the franchise's second championship pales compared to Boston's for number 18. This is the 6th time in 8 years the Boston Celtics have reached at least the Eastern Conference Finals and their second NBA Finals in 3 years. Star wings Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have achieved almost everything short of a ring. Coach Joe Mazzulla's job status was shaky in 2023, and Al Horford cannot wait to get off that quote-unquote most playoff games without a title list. He's third on that list, guys. Only 2 other players have played more games without winning a title than Al Horford has. You may have heard of them. They're 2 of the greatest of all time, and I believe, and I'm almost certain they're both Hall of Famers. Karl Malone and John Stockton. Urgency alone does not win championships, but urgency plus talent plus roster depth plus experience plus continuity plus home court should be enough for the Boston Celtics. Going into these playoffs, I will be honest with you, the Boston Celtics were my pick to win the NBA championship, even before the playoffs started. When we were getting ready to start the playoffs, if anybody had put a gun to my head and said, who's your pick to win it all, Florio? I would have said, simple, Boston Celtics. I feel just as good about it now as I did at the start. They were my pick all along, and damn it to hell, I'm not going back on it. Absolutely not. Why would I shy away now? The Boston Celtics are my pick. I got the Boston Celtics winning their 18th NBA championship. I got them doing it in 6 games. So give me the Boston Celtics to win the 2024 NBA championship. And should they do that, they will become they will take back their title of most successful franchise in NBA history. They'll break the tie with their most hated rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers. Both have 17. I think Boston breaks the tie this year. Give me the Celtics to win banner number 18. So, Celtics in 6. So, not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Bullock, you're going to get the last word because it's your team. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. I got the Boston Celtics winning this series, winning the championship, 6 games. They were my pick since before the playoffs even started.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they look to finish their story from 2 years ago. But this time around, unlike 2 years ago, this time around they have the home court advantage. And Dallas, Boston, first time ever NBA Finals. It all starts Thursday night. I got Boston in 6. What says you?
It's going to be a very interesting series because we're going to see how it plays out very early. Obviously, game one's going to be the rust factor. How much rest did Boston get? Or was it too much rest going into game one of the NBA Finals? That could be very interesting, very telling right out of the gate how this thing is going to go. And then behind that, then you get the matchups. Then you get the breakdowns of all the other remaining teams in the NBA Finals. From being, from Dallas, they have, Kyrie Irving, they got Luka Doncic, they got PJ Washington. You got weapons along the way. Of course, Boston will have their weapons along the way as well. And the thing is that how is Boston going to handle that pressure? That Luke is going to get a lot of points. He's going to be the dominating force. But can you handle? And the thing is that with Boston, they like to ISO. So with Dallas, they're gonna ISO. So you're gonna get a lot of Luka, a lot of Kyrie, and then the supporting cast will come in. Where Boston's more of the complete package. Obviously, Boston lives and dies by the 3-point shot. If they start draining their threes, then obviously that's going to be great news for the Celtics. If they start missing them and having bad nights behind the arc, that's where you might give Dallas the opportunity to win the series. I believe I partially disagree with you, Anthony. I think it's going to go 7. It's going to go the distance. However, I do got the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship, but I think it's going to go the distance. I do believe that the Kyrie and Luka faction is going to get their moments where, especially early in the series, I would not be surprised if they steal game 1 from Boston. Boston will get back in game 2. Then it's going to be split through the middle. But then once we get to the nitty gritty, I think it's going to go all the way back to TD Garden 3-3. And that's where I think Boston finally puts Dallas away and wins the NBA World Championship. I got the Celtics winning in 7. Michael Bullock, you have final say on this tonight.
Yeah, this should be a good series. I think this is really going to test the Celtics team. And like you said, a lot of questions. Will Porzingis be ready for game 1? I mean, I think he will. I mean, especially after hearing news today that he was actually shooting threes in practice without any kind of pain. So I mean, it continues to look good. But like you said, and that's the thing with this time off. I mean, it helps Porzingis more and more, especially with getting ready. And it also helps with Al Horford, because remember, Al Horford is 38 years old. And a lot of the minutes that he played in this playoff, so yeah, so maybe this rest will definitely help him. And yeah, and I'll be interested to watch the matchup, especially with how the Celtics are going to guard Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I mean, I think they're going to get their points, but just make sure the other guys don't contribute. If you do that, I think they have a great chance of winning the series. So yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a fun series. But I do agree with Michael Fletcher. I think this is going to go the distance. I think this is going to go the full 7. I do have the Celtics winning the championship and raising their 18th banner. So yeah, I mean, Celtics win the series, and yeah, I mean, I cannot wait for this to get started on Thursday night, and we here at TXN Sports World, we will be covering this with the Celtics chat all the way through the NBA Finals, and of course, locally here in New England, you can catch pre and post game coverage on NBC Sports Boston. And of course, we already know you can see it nationally on ABC. Of course, starting with the NBA Countdown crew. So let's go! Can't wait for this to happen. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, and with that said, we are gonna call it a night, guys. So, Monday night we do this all over again with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. And what we're gonna do is tomorrow. Yeah, well, depending on how it goes, we'll recap the game six. It'll be me and Anthony Florio. We'll recap game six. We'll probably do this maybe around 11, just for you guys out there. We'll do a quick little Ranger roundup, and if there is a game seven, it will be on Monday. We'll add it to Ridiculously Raw's docket, so we'll do that, and then on Wednesday Night Madness. Thursday, obviously, it's going to be TXN Sports World again. This time around, we're going to be recapping. We're going to preview the Stanley Cup Final. We're going to also do the Celtic chat, and we will recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, because I believe it starts on Thursday, and then Friday or Saturday, I don't know when, we'll do a recap of this. We'll do another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. So with that said, for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.